I can't tell if Nintendo has run out of new ideas for games, or is just giving the people what they want. Either way, it's great to see Punch-Out back in full glory. The objective is to be the greatest boxer ever. To do that, you either have to KO or TKO everyone you come up against. Like a normal boxing match, you have 3 rounds, and 3 minutes within each round. If you can knock the other guy out 3 times, you win. Or if you can knock him out and they don't get up for 10 seconds, you win. But if you get knocked out 3 times, or you can't get back up, you lose. For those of you who grew up with Punch-Out, you'll be happy to know that very little has changed. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, well, here's a brief rundown. It's pretty much boxing. Not realistic though. I mean, if you think this is realistic...
Here's one of my favorites, man.
You need to get outside more. The basic controls are still the same. You don't move, you just dodge. You dodge left, right, duck, and block. You can also use left and right punches, either in the stomach or in the face. Each opponent has their own strengths and weaknesses. That weakness is how you earn a star punch. And unlike the NES version, you can score up to 3 and really let them have it. When an opponent does something odd, that's your chance to get a star punch. Or sometimes just by catching them off guard. And if you get hit once, you lose all your star powers, so be careful. You also have a stamina meter, and if you run out, you can no longer attack. And the only way to refill it is to dodge just 1 attack. Every time you get hit, you lose stamina. And you can even lose stamina if you block, which, to be honest, blocking is only useful for a couple characters, and becomes completely useless against some of the more powerhouse opponents. To win the championship belt, you'll have to go up against some old faces like Mr. Sandman, who's powerful enough to bring down buildings with his bare fists, or Glass Joe, who's strong enough to lift a loaf of bread, or Aaron Ryan, the in-your-face masochist.
You told me that cheeseburgers and those gloves have you. He hit me. I love it.
Don't you just love to hate this guy?
Yes, in fact, he just made number 6 on my list. Or Bald Bull, who likes to give everyone and himself a concussion. And just about everybody else.
Why don't you love me?
Once you've won the championship, you'll have to defend your title. This is where everybody breaks out of their old habits, throw in new moves. Some of them completely get rid of their old weaknesses, or have learned from their past mistakes. These guys aren't kidding around anymore, and I'll admit it. In title defense, I did lose to Glass Joe. A lot. He kept faking me out with that fake hook. And if you can defend your title, you'll unlock Little Mac's Last Stand. In this mode, you go up against 14 random fighters. And if you lose 3 times...
You really sure? 3 losses and you call it quits? All right then, let's go out on top, kid. It's time to take your place in history.
And there's even a difficulty where if you get hit once, you lose all your health. Sounds pretty hard, right? It is. But to be honest, I still think it's a little easier than the NES version. Only because you're able to increase your health
1, 2, 3, 4.
and you get as many continues as you want. Unlike the NES version where if you lose twice you fight the guy from the previous match, in this one it doesn't matter how many times you lose, you fight the guy again. And if you have some real trouble, you can just fight them in the holograms.
Release the bogus!
To be completely honest, I know it's a remake, and I know they didn't really change a lot, which is good, but at the same time, they really didn't add a lot of extras to the game. Yeah, there's a challenge mode, and they did add a few new characters, one of them being unlockable that you can sometimes see in the background. The other one is only available if you join Club Nintendo, and the other one is just too easy. What kind of boxer tells you he's about to attack?
Here it comes.
Oh!
Well, thank you for being such a nice gentleman, but this is boxing! Most of the time, it just feels like the only thing that was really updated was the presentation. The graphics are nice, and the animation is fluid and consistent. Not to mention, I love how the presentation is done because every fighter from a different region speaks their own language.
तुम्हारा ध्यान जरा सा टूटा और मैं गायब.
Hey Doc, Mek'e dayak yemeği mi öğretiyorsun?
¿No te parece que huelo a victoria?
Bonjour! Bonjour!
That better have been French he was saying. I do wish they would have had some kind of unlockable where it would have had subtitles so you can see what they were saying. The biggest problem is that everything comes from memorization. The opponents follow a pattern to the precise second. And even though some attacks are really hard to avoid, you can still time them, just by watching the clock. But what else can I say? It's great to see Punch-Out back, and I love the sense of humor they put in.
What are you looking at, little Mac? Who's that? Think that's funny? Come on. Come on. Let's go. I'll take a piece of you now. Hey, think you're a man, do you? Hey, think that's funny? Come on.
Where am I? I can't even find my chocolate bar. I must be in the wrong corner.
And it's also great to see Doc Lewis return, who is one of the best supporting characters in a video game ever. He's full of great advice.
Listen, son, Great Tiger's uppercuts are tricky. You got to be careful the way you dodge. You gotta have guts, son. Dig down deep. Stand up to this bull. Knock the bull out of ball bull. Pinch me! I must be dreaming. Will you fight it, Donkey Kong?
And take a look at this. Every time he eats a candy bar, you get energy. A 4 out of 5. It's an enjoyable experience for those who can play it.
Great fighting, Mac. Scratch that. Super fighting, Mac. You ready for the next challenge?